driver rams car into crowd in Manhattan, killing two. Good afternoon and Salam Malaysia Madani. Thanks for tuning in. You're watching World Today with me, SAHIH. United States President Donald Trump shut down hopes on Monday of an 11th hour deal with Canada and Mexico to avert sweeping tariffs while signing an order to hike duties on China. Trump had unveiled and then paused blanket tariffs on imports from major trading partners, Canada and Mexico, in February, accusing them of failing to stop illegal immigration and drug trafficking.
The tariffs, as you know, will start a week earlier than the reciprocal, which is going to be on a couple of weeks earlier. Reciprocal tariffs start on April 2nd. But very importantly, tomorrow tariffs 25% on Canada and 25% on Mexico, and that'll start. So they're going to have a tariff. So what they have to do is build their car plants, frankly, and other things in the United States, in which case they have no tariffs. And they're getting old.
U.S. stock markets tumble after Trump told reporters Monday there was no room left for both countries to avoid fresh levies. Sweeping levies, particularly on Canada and Mexico, are set to snarl supply chains for key sectors like automobiles and construction materials, risking a hike in consumer prices. This could complicate Trump's effort to fulfill his campaign promises of lowering costs for households. Canadian Foreign Minister Melanie Joly said Trump's looming tariffs represent an existential threat to the country with thousands of jobs at stake. She added that if Trump went ahead, we are ready with counter tariffs. Mexico's President Claudia Sheinbaum said Monday that her country has contingency plans whatever the decision Trump takes. Meanwhile, China was reported to be strongly dissatisfied with the decision and firmly oppose it, and warned that countermeasures will be taken to safeguard its right and interests. In another development, President Donald Trump suspended military aid to Ukraine on Monday, sharply escalating pressure on Kiev to agree to peace negotiations with Russia. The move comes just days after a stunning public clash at the White House between Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky and Trump, who is seeking a rapid end to the war. Trump earlier on Monday had declined to rule out a pause when quizzed by reporters, but any disruption in the flow of U.S. arms to the front line would rapidly weaken Ukraine's chance of beating back the Russian invasion. Trump on Monday also warned he would not put up much longer with Zelensky's defiant stance.
Well, I just think he should be more appreciative because this country has stuck with them through thick and thin. We've given them much more than Europe, and Europe should have given more than us because, as you know, that's right there, that's the border.
Speaking at the White House, Trump said Zelensky won't be around very long without a ceasefire deal with Moscow. The pause has gone into effect immediately and affects hundreds of millions of dollars of weaponry in the process of being sent to Ukraine.
Supposedly made a statement.
South Korea and Singapore participated in amphibious drills with Thailand and the United States on Monday as part of the annual Cobra Gold military exercise. The drills staged on a beach in eastern Thailand started with an airstrike, followed by an amphibious landing and rehearsed clashes between defending and attacking forces, striving to capture the opposing side's beachhead. From the U.S. perspective, troops are learning different techniques and tactics and procedures on how to work not only amphibious, but also in some of the unique environments that are offered in Thailand. Colonel Stuart W. Glenn, commanding officer of the U.S. Marine Rotational Force Southeast Asia, said the drills will making them better partners for allies with the Royal Thai Marine Corps, as well as other partners from the Republic of Korea and the Singapore Armed Forces. This year marks the 44th edition of Cobra Gold, a multinational military exercise launched in 1982 that will see over 8,000 troops from 30 countries participating in the drills. The exercise, which started on 24 February, is scheduled to conclude on Friday. A man drove a car into a crowd in Germany on Monday, killing 2 people. An 83-year-old woman and a 54-year-old man were killed and seriously injuring 5 others. The suspect, a 40-year-old German male, was arrested at the scene. Politicians and police treated a rampage in the southwestern city of Mannheim as a suspected deliberate act after Germany has been shocked by 2 deadly car ramming attacks since late last year. The driver plowed a small black Ford passenger vehicle through a downtown pedestrian shopping area around 12:15 local time, where a carnival market was located with dozens of food stalls, rides and games. Police with heavy weapons soon shut down and evacuated the inner city as helicopters flew overhead and citizens were told to stay indoors via warning apps during the life-threatening situation. With the sole suspect arrested and being treated in hospital, police later said that at the current stage of the investigation, there is no suspicion of a political background. Baden-Württemberg State's Interior Minister Thomas Robe said the suspect arrested at the scene was a 40-year-old German man from the neighbouring state of Rheinland-Pfalz. The intensive care unit of Mannheim's University Hospital quickly declared a disaster alert, readying for a wave of casualties needing emergency treatment. German cities have seen several violent attacks in recent months, including stabbing sprees and car ramming attacks. North Korea has slammed the United States for political and military provocations over the visit of a US Navy aircraft carrier to the South Korean port of Busan. A statement by Kim Yo-jong, the powerful sister of North Korea's ruler Kim Jong-un, was published Tuesday by the state-owned Korean Central News Agency KCNA. The USS Carl Vinson, the flagship of a carrier strike group, arrived in Busan for a scheduled port visit on Sunday, the US Navy said in a statement. Military cooperation between Seoul and Washington regularly invites condemnation from Pyongyang, where the government sees such move as preparation for an invasion and often carries out missile tests in response. South Korea's Ministry of Defense said that Kim's statement is nothing more than an excuse aimed at justifying its nuclear missile development and creating a pretext for provocations. Relations between Pyongyang and Seoul have been at one of their lowest points in years, with the North launching a flurry of ballistic missiles last year in violation of UN sanctions. To join South Korea, US Freedom Shield military exercises are set to begin this month. British Prime Minister Keir Starmer and British Defence Minister John Healey announced on Monday that the United Kingdom will allocate a large share of the country's defence budget to small and medium-sized enterprises, SMEs, in the defence sector. Starmer and Healey welcome students and representatives from SMEs in the defence industry to Downing Street for a careers fair event.
Today, we're announcing more support for SMEs in the defence sector. This is really important because our SMEs do fantastic work. This is a real opportunity because it boosts investment in small firms across the whole of the United Kingdom. So for those of you that are thinking about a career in defence, in this industry, I hope the students feel inspired by what they see today.
Starmer announced last week that he would increase annual defence spending to 2.5% of the country's gross domestic product (GDP) by 2027 and target a 3% level last seen just after the Cold War. Lebanese President Joseph Aoun landed in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia on Monday on his first trip abroad since being elected on 9th January. Saudi Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman later met the president at his Al Yamamah Palace, where the two leaders held a meeting. Aoun said he would ask Riyadh if it's possible to reactivate the grant halted in 2016 after Lebanon failed to condemn attacks on Saudi diplomatic missions in Iran. Saudi Arabia once spent billions in Lebanon, depositing funds in the central bank, helping to rebuild the south after the 2006 Hezbollah-Israel war, and supporting a number of Lebanese politicians, only to see Hezbollah grow more powerful with Iran's support and its influence spread across West Asia. But recent months have seen seismic political shifts in the region, with Israel pummeling Iran-backed Hezbollah last year and Hezbollah's Syrian ally Bashar al-Assad toppled in December. Lebanon faces a huge reconstruction bill following a year of Israeli strikes on the country, but Lebanese officials and diplomats say foreign support, including from the Gulf, is contingent on Beirut enacting long-awaited financial reforms. Aoun is later expected to attend the Emergency Arab Summit in Egypt later today to discuss Palestinian developments. one killed in Bolivia bus accident. That and more coming up next. Pakistani and Afghan security forces clashed on Monday at the recently shuttered main border crossings between the two countries, killing at least one combatant and injuring several. The conflict erupted on the first working day of the holy Islamic month of Ramadan, when food imports from Pakistan usually peak in Afghanistan, which is facing a humanitarian and hunger crisis. A 10-day-old closure of the Torkham border point has stranded thousands of trucks filled with essential goods. The Afghan Interior Ministry said on Monday the latest firing took place overnight and that one Taliban fighter had been killed and two injured. The neighboring countries have a strained relationship, with Pakistan saying that several attacks that have occurred there have been launched from Afghan soil, a charge the Taliban deny. Pakistani military aircraft carried out strikes that killed dozens on Afghan territory in December. The Torkham crossing is the main transit artery for travellers and goods between Pakistan and landlocked Afghanistan. Trade between the two countries was worth over $1.6 billion in 2024, according to Pakistan Foreign Office. Millions of Afghans are at risk of hunger and around half the population needs humanitarian assistance to survive. At least 31 people died in southern Bolivia Monday when their bus plunged into a ravine after colliding with a pickup truck. The crash in southern Potosi department came 2 days after at least 37 people died when a bus heading to the Oruro Carnival, one of the biggest festivals in Latin America, collided with another bus near the city of Uyuni. Monday's accident took place around 90 kilometers north of the city of Potosi and also involved Oruro festival goers. This time, people leaving the Andean city after the weekend carnival, which attracts tens of thousands of revelers. Investigators say they suspected the pickup driver of causing the collision by crossing lanes into oncoming traffic, ramming headlong with the bus, which plummeted down a gorge half a kilometer deep. The pickup driver was taken into custody in hospital where he was being treated for his injuries. The public prosecutor's office said the driver was being investigated for possible homicide and causing serious injury. Horrific smashes are all too frequent on Bolivia's narrow mountain roads. According to government data, road accidents kill an average of 1,400 people every year in the country of about 12 million inhabitants. Two buses packed with tourists collided on a busy street in Spain's second city, Barcelona, on Monday, injuring at least 51 people, 4 of them critically, including a minor. One bus was parked and picking up passengers on Avinguda Diagonal, one of Barcelona's widest and most significant avenues, when the other smashed into it from behind. One bus was carrying a group who arrived on a cruise ship and were visiting Barcelona's iconic Sagrada Familia Basilica, while the other was transporting a group of Italian students staying in a nearby town. Deputy Mayor Albert Bertil said the cause of the accident is under investigation. It comes as Barcelona and much of Spain were lashed by rain and it snarled traffic in Barcelona on the opening day of the annual Mobile World Congress MWC, the world's largest wireless technology showcase, which is set to draw around 100,000 attendees. The 4 critically injured patients include a pedestrian who was in the area as well as a 17-year-old passenger of one of the buses. A total of 19 ambulances and 4 teams of psychologists were dispatched to the scene. The Vatican said Pope Francis suffered 2 episodes of acute respiratory insufficiency on Monday, a setback for the 88-year-old pontiff as he battles double pneumonia. Francis, who has been in Rome's Gemelli Hospital since 14 February, is again receiving non-invasive mechanical ventilations to help with his breathing. The latest detailed medical update said the Pope experienced 2 episodes of acute respiratory insufficiency caused by a significant accumulation of endobronchial mucus. He also suffered a bronchospasm akin to an asthma attack, which required doctors to perform 2 bronchoscopies or procedures to inspect his air passages. The Pope's prognosis remained guarded, the statement said, which means Francis is not out of danger. A Vatican official, however, said the pontiff's blood test on Monday had remained stable. The Pope's doctors believe the respiratory episode was part of his body's normal response in fighting infection. There had been relatively upbeat statements about Francis' condition over the weekend after a previous bronchospasm on Friday. A dozen Tesla were torched in France in what authorities are treating as an arson attack. The prosecutor's office said an investigation has been opened into Sunday's night attack on a dealership near the southern city of Toulouse, which left 8 cars burnt out. Another 4 cars were badly damaged amid evidence the blaze was not at all accidental. Philippe Guyot, mayor of the Toulouse suburb of Plaisance-du-Touch, said firefighters had quickly determined that the cause of the blaze was criminal, adding the dealership premises had not been targeted. A handful of anti-Tesla actions have occurred in Europe since Elon Musk's rapprochement with US President Donald Trump, his backing of European far-right parties, and attacks on diversity. Sales of Tesla cars halved year-on-year in January 2025 in Germany and France. Bitcoin's price plunged nearly 10% on Monday as an escalating trade war and uncertainty over creation of a US crypto reserve fund sent investors running from risk. After jumping on US President Donald Trump's talk of creating a national cryptocurrency reserve, Bitcoin and similar digital assets dove in the face of concerns it might not actually happen. Late in the day, Bitcoin was down 9.47% at $85,321.69 each. There is more than $1 trillion worth of Bitcoin, the largest overall valuation in the crypto realm. The second largest digital asset, Ether, saw its price drop more than 15%. Other major cryptocurrencies such as XRP, Cardano, and Solana were down by almost 20%. Weighing on cryptocurrency prices was Trump's confirmation of 25% tariffs on all products imported to the United States from Mexico or Canada, which have already promised to retaliate. Experts said that concern about this trade war is compounded by worries about US economic growth, which many see weakening in the first quarter, caused the uncertainty in market. Egyptian pharmaceutical company Eva Pharma began production of locally made insulin, guaranteeing a lower price for diabetic patients in Egypt. In December 2024, the Egyptian Drug Authority approved the use of Glavigin, launching it in Egypt and expecting it to be exported across Africa, according to a statement by Egypt's government. Glavigin will be a second brand of one produced by Eli Lilly, the multinational pharmaceutical company and major global insulin manufacturer. Eli Lilly said in a joint statement with Eva Pharma that the two companies launched a collaboration in 2022 where Lilly will provide its active pharmaceutical ingredient API to its Egyptian partner at a significantly reduced price. According to the production head of biological products at the company's factory, Ahmed Amin, Eva Pharma has the capacity to annually produce around 100 million vials and 70 million cartridges of insulin. Amid a hard currency shortage, a chronic economic slowdown, and falling value of the Egyptian pound exchange rate, pharmaceutical companies struggle to secure liquidity to import raw materials necessary for drug manufacturing, resulting in a severe shortage of medicine in 2024. Barcelona's Mobile World Congress, MWC, the telecoms industry's biggest annual gathering, opened its doors on Monday and is expected to draw 100,000 visitors hungry for new products, gadgets, and the latest innovations in mobile connectivity. The MWC, organized by London-based industry trade body GSMA and hosted in Barcelona since 2006, attracts around 2,700 global communication technology providers. Companies showcasing their products include Meta, Netflix, Samsung, Google, Cisco, Xiaomi, Huawei, and Microsoft. Artificial intelligence, coupled with high-speed 5G systems and its integration into daily lives, continues to draw attention, as do legislative and ethical concerns. A dense crowd packed the halls between stands, blazing with screens from early morning, hunting out the latest devices and innovations from manufacturers, or set to participate in debates about the future of the industry. As the fair kicked off, dozens of protesters carrying Palestinian flags gathered near the trade show with messages calling for a ban on Israeli companies at the MWC. Still to come in sports, national youth badminton pair clinches maiden title at Dutch Youth Open.
76 minit tanpa henti. 76 minutes non-stop. Transparent and concise.
Paparan komprehensif, ringkas dan padat. Saksikan Kanta 744, 7.44 malam.
Berita perdana 8 malam. Malaysia Tonight, 8:30 p.m.
Starting off our sports segment this afternoon, national youth pair Dania Sofia Zaidi and Lo Ziyu clinched their first title at the Dutch Youth Open. They brushed challenges from Japanese pair Yurika Nagafuchi Maooshi 21-10, 21-10 in just 32 minutes. Dania also participated in the mixed doubles final with Datu Anif Datu Astra but suffered defeat against Chinese pair. Meanwhile, the Sri Lanka International Challenge Tournament, Adil Soleh Ali Sadikin lifted his maidens men's singles title. The young shuttler displayed a very energetic gameplay at the final, brushing off India representative Pranakata with straight sets win 21-19, 21-15 in Colombo. Meanwhile, professional men's single shuttler Lee Zijia will begin his new season at the Orleans Master Championship in France today. The 26-year-old will also be participating in 3 more tournaments in Europe, including All England and Swiss Open. Orleans Masters, a Super 300 event, will be Zijia's first appearance after recovering from right ankle ligament injury since last December. Zijia is scheduled to meet with world number 30 Taiwanese Qi Yu-Jen in the first round. In their previous clash, also at the Orleans Open in 2017, Zijia recorded straight sets win 22-20, 21-12. In football, Esteghlal and Al Nassr played out on a goalless draw in the first leg of their Asian Champions League Elite Round of 16 tie at the Azadi Stadium in Tehran on Monday. Saudi side Al Nassr had to do without Cristiano Ronaldo, who did not travel to Iran, as the club said they were resting him due to muscle soreness. John Duran came closest to scoring for the visitors, hitting the post and being denied by Esteghlal goalkeeper Hussein Hosseini on 3 other occasions. A high-profile recruit in January from Premier League club Aston Villa, the Colombian could not add to the 2 goals he scored on his tournament debut last month. Al Nassr will host Esteghlal, whom they beat in the group stages in the second leg in Riyadh in 7 days' time. The Saudi side's manager Stefano Pioli will hope to welcome back Ronaldo to his starting lineup. Ronaldo has 6 goals in 5 Champions League elite appearances this season. Novak Djokovic will have old rival Andy Murray back in his coaching corner as he attempts to win the Indian Wells title for the first time in almost a decade. Murray's management team confirmed that 37-year-old Scot had flown to California on Monday to continue his coaching arrangement with the Serbian 24-times Grand Slam champion. Djokovic hired Murray ahead of this year's Australian Open and reached the semi-final before being forced to retire against Alexander Zverev because of an injury. His only match since then was a defeat by Italian Matteo Berrettini in Doha last month when Murray was not present. Djokovic is scheduled to compete at both Indian Wells and Miami, known as the Sunshine Double, for the first time since 2019. He is the joint record holder for the titles at both Master Series events with 5 at Indian Wells and 6 at Miami, tied with Roger Federer and Andre Agassi respectively. He has not won either title, however, since 2016. Speaking in Qatar last month, Djokovic said it's indefinite in terms of how long they are going to work together, but they are going to work most likely in the States and then some clay court tournaments. Indian Wells begins this week with Miami on 19th March.
Melaksanakan misi, mempertahan maruah, mencipta secara setiap pertemuan, takkan jenta dengan asalkan membuat peluang untuk segerakan satu perjuangan, satu suara akan yang direncanakan dan dalam memburu takkan keraguan, kekuatan bicara.
Welcome to On the Table.
Obviously, there are two main engines of growth in any economies.
What are the implications of Malaysia's growth on employment, income levels, and also standard of living per population?
From a historical perspective, it's been good.
The capacity in our country can be built to be in the same level as the world standards.
That wraps up World Today this time around. In our top story, Trump suspends military aid to Ukraine. I'm SAHIH Malaysia Madani. From the river to the sea, Palestine will be free. Thanks for watching.
Selamat hari jadi, selamat hari jadi, selamat hari jadi, selamat hari jadi. Ingat hari jadi, ingat dokter gigi.
Gigi yang sihat membantu pengenyahan makanan, senyuman yang menawan